The solution to the epidemic of violent crime in poor black neighborhoods is to actively discourage pregnancies out of marriage, to impose strict discipline in the public schools, including mandatory student uniforms, and to create a zero-tolerance policy for gun and drug crimes, imposing harsh mandatory prison time on the offender. I have studied this issue for 30 years, and my sincere belief is that the African American community is being devastated by the collapse of the family. And it all goes back to an alienation of young black men in this country for a number of reasons, but primarily because they're angry they didn't have a family and their father abandoned them and all of that. White people don't force black people to have babies out of wedlock. That's a personal decision, a decision that has devastated millions of children and led to disaster both socially and economically.
There wasn't one person in Sylvia's who was screaming, MFer, I want more iced tea.
Please.
You know, I mean, everybody was, it was like going into an Italian restaurant in an all-white suburb in the sense of people were sitting there and they were ordering and having fun, and there wasn't any kind of craziness at all.
Stability equals prosperity. And in many black precincts, there's chaos in the streets, in the schools, in the homes. The lack of involved fathers leads to young boys growing up resentful and unsupervised. When was the last time you saw a public service ad telling young black girls to avoid becoming pregnant? That's your root. That's your core. That drives poverty, it drives violence, it drives resentment, it drives everything. And
Bill,
you guys just not acknowledging it. You're not acknowledging it. They blame guns, poor education, lack of jobs. Rarely do they define the problem accurately. 72% of babies in African-American community are born out of wedlock now. Why isn't there a campaign by you and the First Lady to address that problem very explicitly? Violent crimes largely committed by young black men. Young black men commit homicides at a rate 10 times greater than whites and Hispanics combined. In New York City, 80% of all the shootings in the nation's largest town are blacks. The crime rates in the black urban precincts are off the chart compared to suburbs and rural areas, okay? So the police, by necessity, to protect the poor people there, who are being murdered by the hundreds in Chicago, for example, have to flood the zone. It's not a let's hunt down the black people today. What do the race hustlers and limousine liberals yell about? The number of black men in prison for selling drugs. Oh, it's so unfair. It's a nonviolent crime. And blacks are targeted. That is one of the biggest lies in the history of this country. It's blacks. You know, you trap in the blacks. Because in certain ghetto neighborhoods, it's part of the culture. 9-year-old boys and girls are smoking it. And they don't like that. They don't want those kids to be targeted by the cops. Because it is racial profiling, but it's really criminal profiling. And it has nothing to do with slavery. It has everything to do with you Hollywood people and you derelict parents. But there was a different attitude in America after World War II. Because we had won a hellacious war, white America was kind of unified, and standards of behavior were very similar. That unification made it easier for society to function.